Here. So we'll jump right into it. So my brother Jackson and I, we are proud heritage American pro-white patriots. And we both believe that demographic replacement is the foremost issue that we face in the country. And we think that anybody that is a white person, that should also be the foremost issue for them. You may disagree. Are you white? Are you a white person?
It's a good question. Am I white? I haven't really thought about it, honestly. I mean, my father's white. My mother was born in South America in Colombia. She was the first generation to come on her side of the family. And my father's family, Fishbacks, have been here since the 1760s. So I don't know the answer to that question. The 23andMe is still coming.
Yeah.
We'll post that.
What they do. It's your boy Luck back again, tapping in. And let me go ahead and answer that for you, James. You are not white, according to white people, right? So you got to understand, right now, we having a little bit of amnesia. See, the white people, they work off of one drop rule, right? So if you have one drop of non-white, you are non-white. Then they be complaining about their numbers. Makes no sense. But I'm reacting to this James Fishback interview. I want to see where it goes. So stay down with me, man. Y'all jump on that like button, man. Hype the video out, man. I'm trying to get my shit in the algorithm. Trying to help the small channel grow, man. Fuck with your boy. Today we got the Frojags brothers interviewing James Fishback. They start off with, "Are you white?"
That soon. I challenge Byron to do the same. I think it's actually less important and more important to recognize the fact that if you're an American citizen of the United States of America, you have to recognize that the founding stock of this country was white. If you're going to be someone like Vivek and come to this country who is born to parents who were not citizens.
Nah, before you go any further now, you're going to put some respect on the foundational heritage, right? The black Americans that was a part of the founding of this country. We're not going to do that. We was 20% at the founding and fought alongside to help in this independence. We're not finna do that. Not even going to speak on the civil rights. We just talking about the revolutionary. We're not finna do that. We know for a fact we had many blacks that fought. Many. So we're not finna do that, bro. We're not finna do that. You better check the records, bro. All this time you spending online, please do your research.
Citizens lecture us about our culture, in many respects have contempt for our culture, bring in foreign nationals through schemes like H-1B to lead the replacement of American citizens. That's a problem. You say you're a heritage American. There are heritage Americans who are also black, called foundational black Americans.
That's right, James. Get your shit off. That's right. That's what I need to hear from you. Get your shit off. Tell these boys again, because these boys act like they got these suit and tie. Look, he can't even put the tie on right. Man, you not fooling nobody just because you put a suit and tie on. You got the aesthetic of a smart man. You not a smart guy.
I think that anyone who's a United States citizen who pledges their sole allegiance to the United States is someone that I would want as a part of my movement.
So you're more of a civic nationalist. You don't think that ethnic identity is integral to a nation?
Well, I think that if you killed every single American and replaced them with Indians from Mumbai, it would cease to be America.
Well, what if it happens really slowly?
The Great Replacement is real and it's bad and it needs.
See, and just like that, you lost me. Come on, James. What are you talking about, the Great Replacement? Can you be specific? Because they're talking about something completely different than what you're talking about. They're not talking about just some demographic situation. You can't be conceding with these dudes. You got to know the rhetoric that they're spewing. You can't just know the surface level shit.
Needs to stop. And the way you stop it is actually by changing immigration policy. So I would support a federal immigration moratorium. But I think at the state level, it's also about being real that things like TPS, asylum status, H-1B, H-2A, H-2B workers who come here become chain migrants and bring a culture that is foreign to ours.
Interesting. I personally don't think you're a white person. And the reason why that's important is because if we're putting America first, we have to make the distinction between, what an American actually is. Is America an idea or is it a people? And if we're putting America first, I believe we have to put the people first. And I don't think that we can put America first without prioritizing the founding stock. This country wouldn't exist if it weren't for white Anglo-Saxon Protestant people. Let's be real. So if you're putting America first, you got to put white people first. So
And that's the problem with you wig nat enthusiasts, bro. You guys are so low IQ, right? You try to obfuscate and you try to deny the facts. Blacks were a part of the founding of this country, played an integral role in the power that this country currently possesses. You're not going to write us off. So if you say that they should be prioritizing heritage Americans, they need to be prioritizing white and black heritage Americans. But that's not what you're saying, right? Because to be honest, I don't think you know anything. I think you just been spoon-fed some racism by the algorithm. I'm going to just be honest. I think you're a decent guy, but you've been spoon-fed racism. But there is a redemption arc, and it starts with repentance and acknowledging that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time, and Eminem is not the best rapper, shit like that.
it's white people.
I'm not going to prioritize white people.
Why not?
I'm going to prioritize American citizens in our state. I'll tell you this. Let's give you an example. If someone who's white immigrates here 20 years ago from Scandinavia, from Norway, and someone who's black, who's been here for 7, 8, 9 generations, who is more of an American in that situation?
I think it's about blood.
Right, but they're white, they're from Scandinavia, and they've been here for 20 years or 20 months.
I think it's proven pretty consistently that people have
James throw it out. He like, bro, I just said she just got here from Slovenia or Slovakia, wherever he said. That's not a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant that you try to say. That's not a black American. That's not an Irishman from the hillsides of Scotland or none of that type shit. It's not the same stock, bro. That's what I'm saying. Are y'all, like, bro, do y'all study genetics? I mean, I know that's y'all cousins and shit like that, but that's like saying somebody from Kenya is the same as somebody from the Congo. They're not.
European heritage can assimilate to American culture. But I think people outside of that continent are less reliable in that regard.
How so?
I mean, look at the immigration problems right now. We have a fundamental incompatibility with people who are not like us.
When you say it's incompatible, what are you referring to?
Look at you want to talk about crime statistics?
So he asked you a straightforward question, and now they can go to obfuscation, bro. What is an immigrant or a black person committing crimes got to do with anything? I bet you're not gonna quote the right statistics. I bet you don't know any statistics except some talking point jargon. Let me hear it.
Sure.
Okay, a black person is 41 times more likely to kill a white person than the other way around. I'm not okay with that.
I agree, and that's why you need to have...
That's cap, bro. There was literally over 100 massacres since 1865, white against black. Literally over 100.
Actually, someone who's tough on law and order. That's why I support a 3 strikes law that says if you commit your 3rd felony, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. But I also think that we are bound by the 14th Amendment that says that equal protection is given to all American citizens. And my view, what I would tell to a black supporter who asked me the other day in Miami, what's your position for black Americans? My position for black Americans is my position for all Americans. You should be able to exist in your own country without being replaced by foreigners. Whether those foreigners are white or black, it's irrelevant. Look, I don't want a young black girl to lose her job, to lose her home, to lose her dignity by some white South Africaner coming here. That's not right. And so my view is really simple. America is not an idea, because if it were an idea and you killed everybody here and replaced them with Indians or Chinese, it would absolutely cease to be in America.
Why?
Why?
So stop right there and expound on that. Don't start pandering in this direction. Because if you start pandering towards their section, you're going to make me think that you really feel like that. But honestly, James, I think you're smarter than that. I really feel like what you just said, you know, is the truth. You come from somebody who was an immigrant that met with a white woman. You know these white guys are dumb. You know the best stance is to be a civic nationalist, even though that's not even probably what you would categorize yourself as. But you know they are so low IQ and so vehemently online that these are the terms that they speak in. You have to speak mean.
Yeah.
Because, well, we could talk about culture as one, But we can also,
Where does culture come from?
it largely comes from race and ethnicity. So look, I mean, the whole foundational idea of this is what kind of country do we want? There's this big debate about whether a certain country has a right to exist. I think American citizens have a right to exist in their country without being replaced by foreigners. That's the view that I have. There's a lot the federal government can do with an immigration moratorium, but there's a lot that I can do as a state governor with respect to deterring this type of foreign immigration into our state.
So you think that Americans shouldn't be uprooted, and what constitutes an American is explicitly you have legal residency, and it's sort of nothing else. But there is sort of an American culture, and these admittedly are downstream from race and ethnicity.
Well, I don't think it's paperwork. But I also don't think that if you're white and you've been here for 2 years and you're from Norway or South Africa, that you're more American than someone who's the direct descendant of slaves.
Are descendants of slaves really American, though?
Yeah.
What makes them American? Because
Well-
they've been here.
They've been here and they've fought in every single war since our country's founding. So yeah, I think people who shed blood, who fought for the soil of our land, regardless of the color of their skin, are more American than people who got here 2 years ago.
Most of
Exactly. Right. What are these idiots talking about? They're the ones who are refusing to assimilate to American culture. This is a multi-ethnic, multicultural establishment. You think all white people have the same culture? No. There's Cavaliers. The New England culture is not the same as the Southern culture, which is not the same as the culture of the Midwest, which is not the same as the culture in Texas. It's not the same as the culture on the West Coast. That's what makes this America, bro. What are we talking about? Honestly, what are you talking about? This is what frustrates me when listening to these so-called nationalists, right? Because I would want to be aligned with certain nationalists, but not who espouse anti-black rhetoric and are frankly not well studied, not well informed. But he's articulating his point, but it's not smart. It's not logical. It's not historically factual. And let's start there. All that's fair to say. We were a part of the founding of this country. We are a part of the reason that this country is the way that it is today. The Native American, the English, the Scottish, the African, the different African mixtures is what created this.
Black men are only 13% of the population. So yeah, I mean, most of it is going to be white blood, absolutely. But there are brave black men in my state, in our state, who have gone to war, not just in the global war on terror, but in Korea, in Vietnam, World War I, World War II, the Civil War. Their contributions.
Don't be afraid to say the Revolutionary War nor the War of 1812. I know you might not go back that far, or you might have been a little on shaky ground. You felt like you was reaching. It's all right to stand on that. We've been here. To be honest, nigga, the first black man was the one holding the slave.
Matter just as much.
That's true, but predominantly that experience has been one reserved for people of European descent. And I think it's important for us to make that observation and not just count that out.
Well, you can make the observation. It doesn't make it, it's an observation. It's empirically true, But look, if you're someone from Sweden or from South Africa, and you're white and you come here and you've been here for 2 years and you are on an H-1B visa, you are not more American than a black American or a white American who's been here for 5 or 6 generations.
I hear you. And we can move on after this, but I guess the point about what constitutes an American, it gets a little hazy because we want to, in reference to the assimilation.
So before we even speak about assimilation, which is like, bro, you spent how much time? You spent 13 minutes, damn near, of your interview with James Fishback that's only 30 minutes long, talking about what it means to be white and if white should be the superseding definition of the word American. Go to the dictionary. What's the dictionary definition? Don't commit etymological fallacies. Don't straw man and do all this goofy shit. Focus. Do some actual information diving. This is terrible, guys.
As a Scandinavian, they come here 2 years ago. Are they an American? I can understand that sort of edge case example, but black people, do you think the majority of them, there's good black people, obviously, but do you think the majority of them are proud to be American? I mean, they've been here 400 years, and I would argue that they haven't assimilated. They basically have their own dialect. If you really think about it, they don't speak the exact same language.
See what I mean? It's like, bro, you're slow. What are you talking about? Nobody speak the same dialect of English. Are you dumb? What are you like? Literally, you sound ridiculous. And then who didn't assimilate? Every time we do what we trying to do, here come a whole town of white mob trying to come through and fuck up what we got going on. Rosewood, Wilmington, to name a few.
Even. They have a distinct culture. They are a distinct other. And that's neither good nor bad, but I don't consider them American in the same way that I am. And I think that that's fair. I mean, does that make sense, or does that sound crazy to you?
I would vehemently disagree with that. Look,
Black American culture is an amalgamation of Southern white, mainly from Birmingham, and Scottish Irish, and also from Native American and African tribes. That is what creates the so-called black culture that these guys are trying to speak on. But they even try to quote Thomas Sowell. I've watched you guys. They've quoted Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell has already made the allegation that that what they're trying to label as black culture is actually redneck culture that comes from the hills of Scotland. So why are we playing games, guys? Why are we playing games? America is an amalgamation. Just like you can find some a poor representation of a white American, you can find a poor representation of a black American. It's a game that you're playing, but you're playing it on yourself. Any person with an IQ above room temperature will see and walk right past that. That's why Jane looked at you like, "What, fam? What are you talking about?" Let's proceed.
I think if you take a white person from upstate New York or Boston and bring them to a rural part of my state here of Florida, whether that's in Madison County or Jackson County, they are going to speak, they're both white, they've both been here for 7 generations, they are going to speak worlds apart. Worlds apart. Some guy from suburban Boston who teaches at Harvard and Cambridge, and a cattle rancher in Madison County or Jackson County. So if we're comparing it on dialect, those men are both American, even though
that's
they
just an
speak
example.
differently.
I mean, there's behavior. There's
What kind of
art.
behavior?
Well, I mean, crime is probably the most noticeable.
Like stabbing people on trains, stuff like that.
You guys talking about?
Yeah, look, I think homeless people who commit crimes, whether they're black or white, that needs to be dealt with.
But crime disparity is observably a racial problem.
I mean, quite literally, 13% of the population commits 50% of the violent crime. The ADL calls that a hate crime. It's an absolute statistic.
This is where you're either, again, pandering or you're leaning into your anti-black sentiments. That's just not a real statistic. 13% commit 51%. That's not accurate. When black people account for the majority of exonerations. So your stats are invalid. You're looking at parts of the data, not the entire data. This is what happens when you cherry pick statistics. Analytics is ruining everything because people are cherry picking statistics rather than mapping out the entire picture and including an analytical perspective. They're cherry picking to paint a narrative. Orwellian speaking the whole way, pushing propaganda. And this is where we are in 2026. Let's go.
Question, though, is what are you going to do about it? So we can sit here and say, well, who's American? Who's this? Who's that? Who talks differently? What are we going to do about it for the person right now who fears being killed, whether they're black or white? You talk about black crime statistics. The number one victim of black crime are black people, not white people. It doesn't change the fact, but at the end of the day, my job, if hired as governor, is to make a safe state for everyone.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying, though. That's disingenuous. Why you didn't tell them people that whites are more likely to have a crime occur to them by other whites? 88%. Some say 89%. You are 1 to 2 percentage points off of what you call black on black crime. Crime is due to proximity. Ain't nobody driving all the way across the rain tracks to rob you.
Who defended constitutional principles better, Joe Biden or Clarence Thomas?
In that case, Clarence Thomas.
But he's black.
But Joe Biden isn't representative of all white people, and Clarence Thomas isn't representative of all black people.
I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying that if
We're talking about individuals or averages here.
well, we can take it every single way. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I don't want to see any American citizen dispossessed of their birthright in the United States of America, period. Conservatives go and get on Fox News and say there's no systemic racism in America. Actually, that's a lie. There is systemic racism against white men, white Christian men in particular, white straight Christian men, if you really want to get specific. I don't still think that justifies racial discrimination. I think Clarence Thomas said it best. The best way to end racial discrimination is to end racial discrimination.
Yeah, I mean, we can
But
push.
again, Jay, this is where I gotta call cap because I don't see nobody what you call it, whatever you call it against white people. People are just pushing back, bro. That's all that's going on here, bro. People are pushing back. Nobody's going against white Christian nationalists. Christians are the majority. Christians are talking about going back on a colonization crusade. Why are we playing these games? Why are you doing victimization politics? This is getting redundant, guys. The point is, don't obfuscate the point, bro. Don't jump around. Don't act like we need to somehow forget that blacks went through slavery, went through Jim Crow, fought, died, bled, paid taxes all along the way. Taxes getting taken to create white suburbs, white people coming and attacking blacks. All of this going around. And just to turn around and be a victim today because we saying, hey, gang, we American too. That's crazy. You guys refuse to assimilate. You guys are anti-American. Because we acknowledge you as heritage Americans. You refuse to acknowledge us as heritage Americans. Many of us here long before you guys. Let's start there. Fair to say, many of us are mixed with Indian. And many of us have ancestry that goes back to the Florida blacks who have been here since the 1500s. Some of them since the 1500s. Many of them since the 1700s. Many of them since the 1700s. Many of the blacks in Louisiana. The blacks in New Mexico, Veracruz, Venezuela, California. These is cats that was born generationally in America since the 1500s.
Meritocracy, but I think meritocracy comes from white people. So that's just where I personally draw the line. What would you do as governor to actually like prevent or push back against the anti-white agenda that you just talked about there?
Well, there's a lot to it.
Let me have a go.
That we're not gonna, it's only, you could sit here and make a bunch of jokes about, anti-black joke, anti-what, and you would get criticized. But if you make an anti-white joke, that's all of a sudden acceptable. And so a lot of it is the intangibles that you have to tackle if you're in that kind of position of authority.
Where does the anti-white sentiment come from? Like, what's the source, do you think?
I don't know. Genocide, murder, rape, imperialism, hypocrisy, victimization, victimhood, playing, gaslighting. I don't know, bro. I mean, we go many places, bro. But again, this is all from failure to acknowledge and have some accountability, bro. I'm finna speed this up because I'm getting a little bored. This is sounding a little redundant. I've heard this before. Heard it all before. Heard it all before.
You know what I mean?
So I'm against anyone who is pro anything other than America. Truly. Like, if you're pro-black, I'm not the biggest fan of that. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not the biggest fan of people being explicitly pro-white. I don't think it's helpful electorally, but I also think it's helpful to where we are as a country. And at the end of the day, my view is we don't have a lot of time. Literally, the Great Replacement is happening. And name a single Republican nationally, let alone one who's polling second in the third largest state in the country, who has the balls to say that. Who has the balls to say that not only is it real, but there's things that we have to do at the state level to stop it.
I will certainly hand you your flowers. You're hitting all the...
See, I can respect you giving your opinion right there. Okay, that's cool, right? So you saying, right in your homie face, okay, look, man. Yeah, I gave you all that white propaganda so you could eat it up. But to be honest, man, if you pro-white before pro-American, I'm really going to throw you out. Or I'm really feeling like that's not the wave. That's really what he's saying. And I get what he's saying. That's what I'm saying. This the thing about this situation, bro. It's a spectrum. And if motherfuckers is building coalitions based on the spectrum, how is you linking up with racists, though? That's what I'm saying. People who are clearly anti-American because they don't even want to acknowledge true heritage Americans over H-1B immigrants. What are we talking about?
I will certainly hand you your flowers. You're hitting all the accurate points, and I think
Are they white flowers, or what kind of flowers are they?
Look, we don't discriminate, but I think that at a bare minimum, your rise, your very rapid rise, is a signal that we're most certainly pointed in the right direction, whether or not we flush it all out in one interview.
Look, I think the big thing is
certainly pointed in the right direction, whether or not we flush it all out in one interview.
Look, I think the big thing is, if we're serious about winning, if we're serious about actually doing this, why wouldn't we want as many people? We've had Democrats pull me aside at this event saying, I'm a Democrat, I'm switching my voter registration to you. They were white. One of them was black. Perhaps one of them was gay or straight. If we're serious about stopping this, we have to build a broad coalition.
Isn't that how we got here, though? Like, by white people making concessions, opening up the border, being inclusive. I feel like this is what's facilitated the Great Replacement to have the circumstances to even happen in the first place. I almost feel like in order for us to actually make real political progress, we have to be more rigid about inclusivity.
Well, let's talk about that. Joe Biden was white, open border. George H.W. Bush was white, passed the H-1Bs into law. George Bush was white, sent white and black men to die, opened the border as well. I can go back 20, 30 years and I can name you every single white president in this country that's facilitated the Great Replacement of the very white people that you're concerned about.
Cabinet's full of Jews, but I get your point. I mean, I agree with you. But again, I don't think that those leaders are representative
in the current cabinet.
You guys have been trying to sit here for a while, man. Yeah, I'm being honest, man. It's getting hard to bear. Do you know anything?
I don't think that Trump is particularly religious. I don't think he's Jewish, though.
There's murmurs.
There's some murmurs.
We don't know. I mean, come on.
I don't think Trump is Jewish. I think the Trump administration is largely influenced by Israeli policy these days. But what I'm saying is, like, what do we benefit out of saying things like Trump is secretly a Jew? I don't understand that benefits us.
I don't know if that in particular benefits us.
It's more about the observation about this apparatus of power that I think that our country is beholden to, generally speaking.
Right, like, is y'all the feds? And if so, listen, take some pointers from me so y'all not easily pointed out. I'll shoot the invoice to y'all email. Just make sure y'all, you feel me? You can pay me in crypto. I ain't tripping. Listen, pay me. I'll fuck with you. I give you a little observational tool, Skip. Y'all boy acting like police.
Speaking, one that dominates not just our political system, but pretty much everything that has power, whether it's entertainment, Hollywood. I mean, all these institutions are run by. Would you concede that?
I think factually that is absolutely true.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, it's a matter of representation. It's not like I woke up one day and I said, hey, like, I don't like black people or or anything. I didn't really give a about politics till I was like 28 years old. I'm 30 now. But it really is a matter of representation. I woke up one day and I realized, like, oh, white people who were my people, I guess, are just literally being replaced and everybody hates them. And who's actually representing white people? Because you just listed a bunch of white people that don't even really represent white people. And it comes down to interest, right? It's like if are overrepresented and they look out for disproportionately, and whites are looking out for whites and blacks are looking out for blacks, then it's sort of this race to the top where everybody's shoving each other down. I mean, black people would have that exact grievance the entire time they've been here, and honestly, kind of fair.
Well, Obama was a black president who was terrible for black Americans.
Yeah, but these are examples of individuals. I could name a million terrible white people, but the point is that they're my people. Like my daughter, she could grow up and be a terrible person, but she's still my daughter.
Of course.
And I think that extends to my nation. And if you trace the etymology of that term, it really means race.
All right, bro. Please stop committing etymological fallacies. This is why the pseudo-intellectuals all intersect that. I'm saying this is why. My fault, bro. I'm a little fried. I'm smoking this good gas. But I'm saying, bro, y'all all intersect at the same things. Y'all make fallacies.
What is your criteria then for a leader? Just purely being white?
Well, no, I mean, if I had my like particular selection, there would be a list of things, but
So
white
what-
would be a prerequisite.
And white's absolutely preconditional.
Yes.
So you would take a white person who literally says, I want open borders, I want Hart Celler on steroids, over a black person who says, I want to close the border and stop the Great Replacement.
I'm tired of making exceptions.
But I'm seriously, in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hypothetical that we've been dealing with the whole
Well,
time.
let me ask you, like, do you want Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court? He's black, or do you want Alina Kagan? She's white.
No, neither. I don't want women in it either.
But in that situation, what I'm trying to get at is what actually matters to you?
I want a nation for my people. And I believe that America is a European nation. We're part of the European diaspora, and we no longer have that. We really have.
Bro, this is ridiculous. What are you talking about, a European diaspora? You guys are delusional. Like, what are you talking about? Britain tried to set up a colonies over here, right? There was something called the Independence. There was something called Articles of Confederation. Black people were a part of and mentioned in both. Revolutionary War. Yes, fought, all that. Yes, Articles of Confederation. Mentioned, all that. You're tweaking. What are we doing? This is a waste of time. This is why I say you guys refuse to assimilate. You guys are anti-American. There is nothing that constitutes what you're saying other than low IQ and bigotry. But this is what we deal with in this country, and we still are on the same page that we were not trying to get flooded with immigrants.
Had it until the 60s.
So are you for open borders for Europeans to come here?
No, I think there needs to be a temporary and potentially indefinite moratorium on immigration.
Even white people?
Temporarily. Yeah, we have a lot of things to fix here first.
What's number one for you?
Well, there's a lot of people that got to go. I mean, there's who knows how many illegals. I mean, illegals alone, what is there, 30 million, 50?
If there
for
were
having kids?
if there were a white illegal from Sweden or a black citizen from Louisiana or Florida, who would you send back?
You keep framing it as if we have to choose one or the other. This is like cherry picking hypotheticals. Most of the illegal people here are like brown people. These are not white Swedish people running around jumping the border. These are illegal people, and they're not Europeans mostly.
Prior to 2020, 40% of illegal immigrants were visa overstays. And a lot of visa overstays came from Europe, came from South America.
I don't want illegal people here, period.
How do you define someone's illegal?
The first act of entering the country is not done through the legal process.
Well, if you come to the country quite literally on a visa, you did come in legally, but you overstaying that visa was the crime. I guess my question...
Right. Like, gang, are you listening? He just said, folk, they came in off a visa and they overstayed their visa from Europe. They're illegal. And you talking about I'm talking about the people who came in illegally. Bro, are you a Fed or do you need to turn your hearing aid up? This is too obvious. Listen. I could give you some pointers, but it's the last time I'm gonna accuse you and give you pointers without shooting an invoice and y'all hitting my crypto wallet. We're not doing this. Y'all need to do good business or stop acting like the police.
Question is, if you could get rid of all of the black people or all of the illegals, which would you do?
Why do we have to keep choosing one over the other? It's all a problem.
I mean,
all of it is a problem.
So what is the solution then?
Total remigration.
Of whom?
Everybody.
Who's not white?
Yes.
And how would you accomplish that?
It's going to take time.
Well, it's quite literally unconstitutional. And so the policies I'm putting in place, I got to warn you, they're going to help white people, but they're also going to help black people and Hispanic people and American Indians as well.
It's not like I'm vehemently against other people, but it's a matter of like a hierarchy of priority. And I think that every other group prioritizes the well-being of their group. And I think that the only group that doesn't really do that is white people. And not to be redundant here, but to tell you the truth, I'm very concerned about the future for white people. And I think that we have to
He's smiling and he's laughing because he thought that's bullshit, bro. You guys are the one who created this whole socioeconomic thing as white and black. You're the ones who keep adding people white First, it was just white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, right? Remember? Benjamin Franklin said, don't bring no Germans over. They wouldn't even consider white originally to Benjamin Franklin. What are you talking about?
Politically, I probably shouldn't even be talking to you guys. I'm being completely honest.
Why?
Well, I think you know why.
And it said, well, I think you know why. Come on, man. Stop playing, bro. He said, bro, I shouldn't even be talking to y'all, bro. What are we doing?
The point is, I will never turn down a conversation. Never. And I don't necessarily agree with you guys on some of this stuff, but I think you genuinely care. But it's probably not in my political best interest to win electorally, but I don't care about any of that. I'm here to talk to you because I believe you guys came here in good faith. You drove 7 hours to be here. And if you do that, you deserve 20, 30 minutes of a conversation with, did I know your questions beforehand?
No.
I didn't know
You did
anything.
great. Yeah, you did great.
So, well, I don't know that I did great, but I was at least willing to share my side of things. And I think at the end of the day, we should be able to say, we want people to succeed. Look, I want illegal immigrants to succeed, just not here.
Sure.
I mean, like, you don't actually want illegal immigrants to just die of hunger in foreign countries. No, we don't. None of us want that.
I want white people to not die.
I want white people to not die. I want black people to not die. I want Muslims. I want Christians to not die.
What if it was a guaranteed death for white people if we
Nah, no hypotheticals, remember? Get out of here. Get out of here, bro. So that's all, man. This your boy Luck, man. Listen, James, you did a lot of slithering. You know the truth. Stop pandering. Stand on it. If they're really as high IQ as they say they are, they will grow. They will learn from the calluses, and they will move on. But if they are low IQ, these brothers is displaying, which I would like to debate both of them. I'm going to keep calling them out. Let me know. It's your boy Luck, man. I appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. I'm staying swift to keep from getting swift. It's your boy, man. I'm getting up out of here.